Hello everyone, hope all are doing great. In the last session, we have already discussed about basic aspect of investment. Particularly, what are the factors are responsible for the investment, how their interactions create the concept of investment. More specifically, we discuss what drives a person to do investment, what are the objectives of the investment, right? And if I have not watched that session, I have given the link in the description box. You can go through it. That will help you to comprehend this session in a more meaningful manner, right? And while moving further to discuss more about the investment, often two terms are come up. These are your speculation and gambling. And most of the time, people are also get confused about these three terms. That is your investment, speculation, and gambling. Though in some extent these are certain aspects are related to each other, but in some aspect they are distinguished from each other. And it is also essential to know about these terms in a clear manner so that we'll have a better understanding on the investment. And that's the objective of today's session. So in the today's session we are going to discuss investment versus speculation versus gambling. And the second part of this video also we are going to touch about to check the concept, to check the concept like whether you are really an investor or a speculator or a gambler. Okay, so let's start our discussion. In reality, an individual's approach towards the investment, particularly the investment decision, identifies whether that person is an investor or a speculator or a gambler, right? So what happens when a person particularly take investment decision basing upon some logical background or some rational base, doing some numerical analysis or basing upon some background, some logical background, then we can say it's taking investment decision, right? Let us, for a assumption, we are not going to give more detail. I will discuss this in later, but understand that let's say investment and speculation in one group and gambling is a separate group. So whatever the logical background basing upon which you are taking an investment decision, they come under the heading of investment and speculation. Apart from that, when you are going to take decision on our emotion or based upon our fun or for sake of entertainment, or there is no logical background, just for excitement we are taking some decision, that is not an investment, that is your gambling, right? So we are going to discuss these terms in detail, and in order to understand it more easy manner, let's have a look on the a video clip that is from the movie 21, which is known as popularly known as the game show problem clip, or you can say the Monty Hall problem, right? So let's have a look on that clip.
The game show host problem, all right? Ben, suppose you're on a game show and you are given a chance to choose from 3 different doors, all right? Now, behind one of the doors is a new car. Behind the other 2, goats. Which door would you choose, Ben?
Door number 1.
Door number 1. Ben chooses door number 1. All right, now, the game show host, who, by the way, knows what's behind all the other doors, decides to open another door. Let's say he chooses door number 3, behind which sits a goat. Now, Ben, the game show host comes up to you and says, Ben, do you want to stay with door number 1 or go with door number 2? Now, is it in your interest to switch your choice?
Yeah.
Well, wait. Remember, the host knows where the car is, so how do you know he's not playing a trick on you, trying to use reverse psychology to get you to pick a goat?
Well, I wouldn't really care. I mean, my answer's based on statistics, based on variable change.
Variable change, but he just asked you a simple question.
Yeah, but just changed everything.
Enlighten us.
Well, when I was originally asked to choose a door, I had a 33.3% chance of choosing right. But after he opens one of the doors and then reoffers me the choice, it's now 66.7% if I choose to switch. So yeah, I'll take door number 2, and thank you for the extra 33.3%.
Exactly. People, remember, if you don't know which door to open, always account for variable change. Now, see, most people wouldn't take the switch. out of paranoia, fear, emotions. But Mr. Campbell, he kept emotions aside and let simple math get his ass into a brand new car. Which is better than that goat you've been driving around campus. All right, everybody. That's the end of the day. Thank you very much. You graded paper.
So what do you observe from that video? I'm not going to touch upon the technical aspect of that video, the math behind that video, right? But the idea is that how that person take the decision, right? And he has used some math, or he has used some logical sense to decide to choose the door behind who is the car is there. But whatever the decision he has taken, there has some rational base, and the same philosophy could be applicable in the investment also. In the investment, when we are putting our money basing upon some rational sense, some rational analysis, then we can say that we are doing our investment, and that rational is not backed by our emotion. That is some logical base also there. But while you are doing gambling, or we can say that we are putting our money based upon some excitement for some thrill, then most of the time we are not doing that, not sure about that also. We're just for sake of fun we are doing that. That is a case of gambling, right? So we'll understand that each term in detail, individually also. So starting from the investment, right? We already know that investment means is a commitment of fund for a particular period of and for a particular purpose in order to get some future in the and get some return in the future, right? So what is the main focus of the investment or a normal investment? We can say that here the commitment is for a long period of time. Normally this is more than 1 year, we can say it's a long period of time. And when we are taking a long period, obviously you are not taking high risk, you are taking moderate risk, and you are getting a moderate return, right? So in investment, there is a long-term commitment and there is a moderate risk and moderate return. And the person involved in such activities is known as a normal investor, or we call as an investor. Coming to the speculation, it is also an investment, right? But the approach of the investment is quite different from your normal investment, right? So in here the time period is matter. Here you are investing for a very short period of time, and the idea is that we are expecting to get high return. So in the short period you want high return, so you are predicting something, and in order to take that opportunity we are going to put our money. So we can say that investment means the employment of funds to acquire the asset in a short duration of the time to take the advantages of fluctuation in prices of the asset. So the price fluctuation, we are quite optimistic about the fluctuation in the prices, and to take that fluctuation we are going to put our money. So that is your speculation. Simply we can say that it is a short-term investment to get high return, right? So here two terms are essential. One is your short-term investment and next one is high risk. Obviously you are taking high risk means you are expecting high return. So there is a chances of high return as well as there is obviously high risk also. And just like your normal investor, here the person involved in speculation also, we call them as a speculator, right? Now the gambling. Gambling already we have I will discuss a little bit in just before. That is a game of chance. It is a purely unplanned activities. There is no proper planning. There is no proper base about that. It's mainly undertaken, to experience a thrill for the fun or for excitement, right? You can take the example of putting money in horse races, casinos, card games, etc. So these are all your gambling activities. Though in India gambling is not legally permitted, but still people are putting their money in some gambling activities. So gambling is your activities which is completely different from the investment. And the person involved in gambling activities known as a gambler. So this is the basic overview of what is investment, what is uh, speculation, and what is gambling. So, to a comparative view, let us have a look on that how these terms are there on the same basis that we are going to discuss right now, right? So, what happened? The first base is your funds availability, right? As you see in that slide, that there are different bases are there, and in the column we have three column. One is your investment, then speculation, and there is gambling. The first base is your funds availability. Though investment, in case of investment, we are committing our fund for a long period of time, right? So when you invest your money for a long period of time, obviously you are going to use his own fund. So investor basically uses his own funds. At the same time, in case of speculation, he may use his own fund as well as he can borrow the fund also, because suppose sometimes he want to take high risk, so to get more return, in case of, you can say it's a greed also, so he can use his own fund as well as sometimes he take borrowed money also to use in the speculation activities. Then gambling, and gambling basically is use a own fund. He has more than whatever the requirement, so in the extra money he can invest in the gambling. Some person also, in the case of gambling, they are backed by the greed, so to get more and more return also, to get more excite, so they may use the borrowed fund also. So that is case of gambling, right? So in the fund availability, investor is use his own fund. Speculator is using his own funds as well as borrowed funds, and gambler are using own funds and borrowed funds. Coming to the orientation, what is the basic approach of that person towards the activities? So we can say that in investment, that basic orientation is there to create wealth. To wealth means to create a long term gain, that is to create a wealth. But in case of speculation, the objective basic orientation is that to earn a high return in the short period of time, to get high return. And in case of gambling, the basic orientation is to have a fun, to get some entertainment, and to utilize your money, to check what is my fate, what is my luck. That is in case of gambling, right? Then coming to time horizon, as we have already discussed, that in investment it's a long term, in speculation is very short term, and in gambling it's very short term. You may take immediate decision to do gambling activities. So far the basis of decision is concerned, in case of investment, it is based on fundamental analysis. Generally, an investor prefer to do fundamental analysis before an investment, right? So what is fundamental analysis? It is an analysis which focuses on the key statistics or the key aspects of the financial statement to determine whether the price is rightly valued or not. It's analyzing the entire economy, analyze the industry as well as the company also. The idea is that to give an insight about the stock prices, to give an more insight to the company's fundamental, that is the liquidity, solvency, profitability, marketability, etc. In fact, there is a chapter also which we are going to discuss in your latter phase, that is on fundamental analysis, on technical analysis. But rightly, we just have to understood that in case of an investment, the investor basically prefer to do fundamental analysis for an investment. At the same time, in case of speculation, the objective of speculator is to get high return in the short period of time. So he basically prefer to do some past price trend analysis, or you may say that is a technical analysis. So in technical analysis, he just analyze the pricing trend, the pricing pattern of the prices by using the various chart and graphs. So he's basically using the technical analysis. And in case of gambling, as we have already mentioned, that is purely based on excitement and emotion. So there is no base. It is just for sake of their fun of entertainment, or we may say that for the addiction is doing the investment. So there is no rational base. Coming to the risk, in case of investment, we also discussed that also, that in investment, though we are committing for long period of time, so we are going to take, we also have to bear some kind of risk, but that risk is reasonable, and we are taking moderate risk. But in case of speculation, we are taking high risk, and in case of gambling, we are taking very high risk. There is very high risk because your chances of winning is very less, so we are taking very high risk. Then coming to return, that what we'll get in the future. Comparatively in investment, we are getting reasonable return, means we are getting more return than your average return, but that is not that much of an extreme point of, if you say the return scale, it's not extreme point, we are not getting highest return, but comparatively on an average return, if you are commit our fund for a particular aspect, we may get reasonable return or moderate return, right? But in case of speculation, the chances of return is high, and in case of gambling, we can't say. It's basing upon, completely depends upon your luck, right? And in terms of stability and income, and stability of the income or growth, we can say investment is quite stable, because you already know that the tenure of your investment, you already know that what is the rate of return you are going to get. More specifically, you are aware about your fact that what will get that future. So here we can say that the in investment, the income or the stability is quite stable. But in speculation, though we are predicting, and it's very short period and is backed by the high risk, so it is uncertain. We can't say, we may get return, we may not. But in gambling, there is no stability. Then types of investor, if you see the basic attitude of the investor, then we can say that in investor, basically they are conservative in nature. They invest for a long period of time, and they accept the moderate return, moderate risk. So they are basically conservative in nature. But in speculation, they are very aggressive in nature, and they expect high return as well as able to or ready to accept the high risk also. And in gambling, they are extremely aggressive. If you see the aggressive scale, they are the extreme point. They take ready to jump in the fire also. So these are the basic idea behind the investment, speculation and gambling. Hope you have understood all these terms, and if you have any doubt, you can write in the comment box. I'll try my best to clarify your doubt. So this is the basic idea, and these terms are really essential. Because when you do more about investment, you need to more clarity. Still, we have a second part where we are saying that though sometimes it is appearing like that I invested in a legalized official investment site or any investment avenue, I may assume that I am doing investment activities. But is it real that I am doing investment activities? That we are going to check in our second part of this video, that are you investor, are you really an investor or a speculator or a gambler? That's what we're going to discuss in a subsequent session. Thanks a lot for watching. We'll